Pokemon Legend ZA. With it we know Mega Evolution is returning, and it certainly has me thinking, speculating, and hoping for a lot with this release. Of course, expectations are high, so I'd like to temper this into excitement and just let go by sharing with you some of my favorite Mega Evolutions ranked with a bit of thought behind each. Before that thought though, yes, Pokemon ZA has opened a massive list of questions, and there's a lot to speculate as I covered in 2 separate videos. Links in the top right if you still want to watch the speculation content after, and I will definitely return to speculate more in future videos. Let's just slow it all down and appreciate some epic Mega Pokemon together. So, to get things rolling, let's talk about rank 2 on the list, and definitely a hard favorite of mine, which is Mega Sceptile. Like, to be honest, this mon is actually just glorious. Like, just look at the big lizard boy. How can you not like it? It's peak Pokemon design. Plus, it gets a signature move Tail Bomb, which again just fits so dang perfectly with the overall draconified lizard with a rocket and or missile theme. 10 out of 10, straight in triple S tier. Chef kiss, yes. Moving on to rank 8 in my top 10, Mega Swampert. Personally, I loved the original Swampert, and its Mega form does look cool in that it feels like a Giga Chad fighter Swampert after a 2-year bulk cycle, but I do rank it a bit lower than the other 2 starters, Sceptile and Blaziken though, because it kind of feels a bit like Poliwrath redone with Mudkip and or Swampert themes. Yeah, this one's going straight into C+. Alright, let's move on to number 5, Primal Groudon. Truly a titan of a Pokemon and definitely one of my all-time favorites. Groudon already has an imposing stature, and when encountered in battle with Team Magma, Groudon's primal reversion looks so cool. Definitely gonna have to keep Groudon in my top 10 and certainly up there in S tier. Now I feel like I've been talking about Pokemon that have been in the more mid to upper echelon of my list, so let's talk about what's at the bottom. Rank 10, Mega Latios and Latias. I'm gonna have to be honest, these 2 dragons are cute, cool, and hit me right in the feels because as a kid, well, I grew up drawing a lot of dragons, and I love the idea of friendly dragons you could just put a saddle on with and fly with, and when I first saw these 2 later and experienced their megas, I just knew these 2 had to be in my favorite Dragonmon list. So I'ma say it and call it for what it is, but it's a very biased and very one-sided A+. So with all that gushing done, let's talk about number 7 out of 10 on the list, Primal Kyogre. It's a very cool design, what with the yellow patterns and the blue on red, it hits just nice enough for me to forgive the fact of how mean it can be in competitive matches when you're up against a Tornadus Prankster Tailwind setup on turn 1, with Kyogre setting the rain up to wipe your front line out on turn 1. So, I mean, look, you'd think I'd give it a B, but it's a good looker and a heavy hitter, so I give it an S tier. Now, okay, I probably might need to rework this next one, I'm still kinda torn up about it, but currently number 6 in my top 10 is Mega Rayquaza. Rayquaza is an emerald green dragon, and when it finally gains the power to Mega Evolve, post dealing with some really cool lore and a fantastic plot arc, finally it transforms into Mega Rayquaza, soaring into the skies and carrying the trainer off into space to save the world. Easily in my top 3 epic moments in 3DS Pokemon cutscenes, and its signature move Dragon Ascent is just, well, it's just awesome. Definitely up there in double S tier. Yeah, it is a dragon, and I admit that I do have an affinity for dragons. But you know what? Let's talk about a little bit more of a punchier kind of Pokemon. Number 3 in my overall rankings is Mega Blaziken. This kicking, flying, punching Redbird has always been an easy choice for me, at least for a starter. I mean, it was my first starter choice when I first played ORAS when it released, and easily one of the coolest. Mega Blaziken combines the concept of a fighter or a martial artist with fire magic and a humanoid bird, and honestly, it just works. Plus, I just kinda can't unsee Ken from Street Fighter because of all the red coloring and the fact it flies around with its kicks and punches. I could definitely give it a B+ on the tier placement. It does lose points on the fact it's a mega form that, well, it just could have looked a little bit more different with the hair, but a B+ is still a B+. Oh, but I guess, you know, if we're gonna talk about fighting Pokemon, it'd be pretty bad if I didn't mention number 4 in my top 10 favorite megas. Megas, which is, and just so happens to be, Mega Lucario. Honestly, Lucario was already cool before it got a Mega, but it just enhanced the overall feel and appearance when it got it. It gets a red headband, and it has karate moves, and of course an energy ball of ki. Only thing left then is for it to be able to yell Hadouken! And then you basically have a doggo humanoid version of Ryu from Street Fighter, and yeah, okay, I'll admit, after explaining away Mega Blaziken and now Lucario, I've probably revealed just how much of an affinity I have for fighting games, and probably maybe just showing my age a little bit, but you know what, I'm just gonna let that one slide. Yeah, Mega Lucario, easily an A+. Alright, let's talk about number 1, ranked 1 on my list of favorite Mega Evolutions, and yes, okay, maybe I'm a little bit vanilla, but I absolutely love Mega Charizard X. I mean, I was already a fan of Charizard since starting way back in Gen 1, and then also when base set released with the TCG, all I wanted to do was get my hands on a base set Charizard. Plus, as I shared growing up, I had a huge affinity for dragons in general, and well, Mega Charizard was exactly what I wanted. I mean, it made Charizard look edgier, tougher, way more dragon-like, and less of a fire lizard salamander. Yeah, 11 out of 10. Triple S tier for sure. Yes, I'm very biased, but I mean, look, this is a tier list based on personal taste. So, whatever. Anyway, let's talk about the last final Pokemon on the list, Mega Mewtwo Y. Now look, I really liked this particular Mega variant of Mewtwo, and it's definitely gonna have to be on my top 10 as a rank 9, because not only does it have a really cool, sleek design, but it genuinely felt like a design rework of Mewtwo, and also 100% a marketable plushie. And I'm just kind of, well, a bit of a sucker for cute animals, I'm gonna be honest. It's a B+ for me. Phew, alright, and with that we've got my tier list for my favorite Pokemon Mega Evolutions leading up to the release of Pokemon ZA. Now, it's not a perfect list, and I do feel like it constantly shifts around. I'd love to hear what your favorite Megas were in the comments. If you enjoyed this little ramble, subscribe to the channel Thinkafurr and join our Discord server and follow me on Twitch to catch me live. Anyway, I'm out of here. It's been a very rewarding but long night in the studio recording, and if there is more trailers in the future and more content to go over, expect me to cover it. So thinkers, have yourselves a big-brained thonky day, and be sure to think safe out there. Bye-bye!